Peace, family. Welcome to Sunday Sitting with Sisters. Your girl Rolanda is back up in the building. Happy Mother's Day. Even though we know every day is Mother's Day, but I'll celebrate any holiday that's going to be mothers, because mothers are so important. And today I'm going to be joined with three guests, and I'm starting off with my dear sister Essence. How you doing this morning, Essence? Happy Mother's
Day. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, and happy Mother's Day to everybody watching. So, right. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
So, Essence, so you have your daughters, right? You have two girls.
Two girls.
Two girls. How old were you when you became a mother?
The first one, I was 27, and the second one, right before my 31st birthday. So around 30, 31. Yep. So they're 4 years. They are 4 years apart. So yes, late 20s. Yeah.
Yeah. The spacing. Peace, Sister Tony. How are you? Tony, can you hear us?
I'm good. I'm well. I can't complain. How are you?
I am wonderful. Good to see you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. No? Good. Sister Tony is also a mother, but she's also a doula.
Sweet.
Hey.
Which is great. How you doing this Mother's Day? Tony, how you doing on this Mother's Day?
Pretty good. I can't complain. How are y'all?
Good.
I'm good. How are y'all?
Good.
Good.
Can
Good
you
morning
hear me?
And happy Mother's Day.
Yeah. So, Essence, I'm gonna start off with you. Tell us a little bit about what it is that Essence do. I know that you have a master's in social work, correct?
Correct.
But what do you do? Tell us, what does Essence do? What is the essence of Essence?
Well, first of all, just a mother. That's the most important first thing I do. But I am a social worker in social services. So I did 15 years in CPS, and then now I'm with the state, the California Department of Social Services. And I basically do a lot of QA, and monitoring, making sure that the different child welfare departments throughout the state are meeting federal and state guidelines, and just get to provide some input and some suggestions to a lot of different policies and procedures around the state of California in regards to child welfare services and how we can just better work on the safety and well-being of our families and children. So that's my day-to-day work, and been in social work for over 20 years. And then outside of that, I just enjoy and love being a mother, a wife, and a daughter, cousin, family member, big sister to some and little sister to one.
Right. Well, I know you also have a business as well. Like,
yes.
I have a job and come home, but I know you got a business.
Oh, yes, I do. I have business called Less Free Royal, and I enjoy doing that. I rock earrings and like to sell my different earrings to all type of people, but they are especially made for Black women, but that anybody can rock them. Then I also am really getting more into my soaps and bath bombs. So I make a lot of soaps with CBD products, just to kind of help with any stress and just relaxation. So I love that. Just making those things kind of is been relaxing and fun to me. And as I'm continuing to go into doing that, I'm actually just kind of learning more things on how can I just kind of relax myself, make sure I'm healthy. And I love to like smell good and smell good things. So I do a lot of just making all kind of different things, and I sell some clothes. So that has been definitely a passion of mine. I love doing it. I'm glad I get to kind of, when I'm selling stuff, I mainly sell at the African market in Sacramento. And I just love being around my people and being able to really build with everybody. So that has definitely been an outlet for me.
Right on. Sister Tony, I know that you are a doula. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Well, I guess I don't know. I'm a doula and I'm also a midwife. I'm a traditional birth attendant. I consider myself. I am wife to Jimmy. That's like always the number two job. um, First is myself, and then after that is second to he's second to myself. I am a homeschool mom of four. I have two. I have one that just is now graduating this year, and then also I have two left. I also homestead, so this morning I've like gotten a chance to milk two goats instead of one because I was giving my kids a day off on Mother's Day, which is weird. Um, we have chickens. We try to produce about 50 to 60% of our own food source, so that's what I am, I guess. I also run a nonprofit that works specifically with women of color in the state of Mississippi around birth and breastfeeding equity. Yeah, I guess that's it. I'm consider myself a village woman. I'm here for the community, however I need to be, in whatever capacity.
I love the fact that you said that you're homesteading. And I think that's beautiful. I think during this time, these last 2 months or so, people have been, like, I started my garden, which was big, even though it was already set up. But having the time to do it, that is so important, to be in control of your food source. What made you all do that?
Well, we live in Mississippi, and I like to tell people all the time that in Mississippi, if you throw seeds in the dirt, then you get something back. Typically, that's kind of how that works. But I was, I get disheartened because some of my food. Oh, that's beautiful. Did you just? Sorry, I'm getting distracted. One of my kids came in with something he just whittled. But so we just wanted to be more in control of the foods that we eat, to ensuring that they were good quality foods. I prefer things to be more organic. We do eat meat, and so I want those meats to be from something that I saw grow. I know what it eats. Our eggs come fresh every morning from chickens that we feed, and we know what they eat. In our food, and so that was really important to me. And because we have the ability to do that, because Mississippi is, like I say, it's a great place to grow things. It just takes work, and it's a privilege. It's a privilege to live where I can't grow my own food, and so I feel like not utilizing that would be like a waste. I guess is the best way.
Everybody's frozen. Huh?
I think Mama Rose like froze. I see.
Yeah, it looks like she froze on here. Yeah, and she's not moving.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
not moving.
it's coming back.
Yeah, it's coming back. I've seen her do that before.
Yeah.
One of her other shows. Yeah.
That sounds good. What you're doing. I love that. I wish I could have a farm and do that. I'm trying to garden something over here, but it's slowly a little bit in the backyard. Huh?
It's hard when you first start. It's really hard.
I thought it sounded real good. I bought some seeds. I went outside. Oh, I'm gonna dig some stuff up, but ain't nothing grown yet. But just the thought of it, I was like, I'm excited.
Yeah, it'll grow. It'll grow. You just have to give it time. My first garden was like, containers in an apartment we lived in, and and then we just went from there, and then we did the front yard garden thing when we lived in the city. And now we have a little piece of property that we're able to garden a lot more on. I got a tiller for Mother's Day, so I'm like totally excited because yeah, so up until now we've been doing just basically bag labor. Tilling the soil, that sort of stuff. So having a tiller is like gospel to me. Yeah.
So you
You
guys got your own store pretty much too. You don't have to.
Well, I'm gonna say for us, we don't really produce enough to sell, and so like we produce enough goat's milk to sell because we have more than one goat in milk. But I got these big old boys. My boys are 18 and 16.
Oh,
and so
okay. Put them
they
to
like
work.
Yeah, well, I put them to work, but they eat so many eggs a day. I can't really sell them.
Okay. Okay.
I'm so sorry, family.
You all right?
Oh,
What's
you're
up?
all right. You're all right. We was talking about the
Thank
farmers.
God.
I figured something
Yeah,
happened.
yeah. You like we were all
Hold on
moving.
just a minute. Let me just close one studio.
And I love your background.
Hold on, y'all. Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
Who, Mama Rose? Me?
Okay, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
back.
I heard
No,
that.
that's me. It's me. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to switch
Yeah.
computers. My
It's
Apple started acting crazy, so I had to
Oh, it's
like get off.
okay.
I'm sorry. That's why it looks like that. I'm over here on this screen. So sorry about that. But y'all did what typical sisters do. Y'all just kept talking. So
We
thank
just
Yes,
you.
kept
yes,
talking. It's all right.
yes. It's all right.
Hi. Hey, Shanda.
Hi, ladies. How's everybody
Uh,
doing?
Hold on, I gotta
Good.
fix
Good
this.
morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
So, so you talked a little bit about your experience of basically homesteading, which I
Mhm.
think is incredible in itself.
Mhm.
Because I think a lot of us are moving back to that place because not being able to go into the store and buy the things that you want, or I don't know about y'all, but yesterday I just came out of Bel Air picking up a few things, and it was a line. It was like 2 o'clock. I was like, oh no, like no. Yeah, and I was in there for like cucumbers and tomatoes, some other things. I was like, yeah, I just started my garden, so it
Mhm.
ain't juiced and everything yet. But
Yeah.
so I think that that's important. We're gonna talk a little bit about a lot of that. Shanda, how are you doing on this Mother's Day? Happy Mother's Day. She has twins, y'all.
Oh,
Thank
happy Mother's Day.
you. I appreciate that. To the other ladies, if you all are mothers as well, happy Mother's Day. To all the mothers listening, happy Mother's Day. I'm doing good. So I'm an essential worker now for part time. So I work at the grocery store on the corner by my house, and so I go to work every morning at 2:30 in the morning to prepare about 100 to 300 bags of food for families. Some of it is donation, and some of it is online ordering, like a click list, like you want your groceries and you don't want to come shopping. So I do that for 8 hours, and then I get
Mhm.
to my day. So today, that's how I'm celebrating Mother's Day, by helping the moms feed their families and the fathers feed their families and stuff. And then I'm off now. So I'm going to go in the house and see what my little twins have planned. But I don't really have big plans. My mom passed away in 2013. So I don't really celebrate Mother's Day, but I do call family and ladies in my life and say hello and, try to show some love. But I don't celebrate anymore. But when my mom was alive, I used to celebrate. I would travel to her city and then do a big shindig dinner or take her out or whatever she was feeling like that day. So just, make her happy as best as possible.
Right on. Right on. So, what does Mother's Day mean to you all? You all work in some areas where you're constantly affecting families, where you're nurturing, where you're caring for and providing. What is it like to be a mother for
Ooh.
you?
Well,
Go ahead.
oh, okay. For me, I don't feel like mothers mean like you have to physically have a child. I feel like women who nurture other people, women or kids or grown-ups or whatever, I feel like they are what makes a woman a mother, the nurturing spirit. Because I was never a mom until 2007, but I have a lot of people in my life that call me Mama Shanda. Not because I'm their mom, but because I was always mothering toward them or loving. I always had food. I always had something nice to say or some sort of encouraging thing to keep their spirits up. They felt safe with me. They felt comfortable. They felt like they could trust me and I was going to have their best interest at heart. Kind of like the warm feeling you would get from your mom. She's the only person that loves you the way she does. So to me, I don't feel like you have to have a physical child to be a mother. I just think you have to possess the certain skills of being nurturing, loving, kind, approachable, caring, things of that nature.
Right on. Right on.
And I piggyback off of her too. I think mothering is just the way in which that you treat others, whether or not they're your child or they're not, they are your child, and just the love and character that you display all the time and stuff. So I, outside of being mother to my kids and other people, I love being a little mother kind of caretaker sometimes, but sometimes you got to pull back and make sure you're not you got to caretake for yourself as well. But I love being caring for others, giving to others, and I really got that a lot from my mom. My mother, she is a very loving person. She has her ways, which we all do, but outside of some of those days we have up and down. I've grown up watching her just being giving and loving and always want to do for others. And so I find myself doing that as well. And so for Mother's Day and many other times, anytime I can, I just love to try to be a caretaker for my mom when I can, even though she cared for herself, fully grown and doing and busybody like me. But I loved just wanted to do stuff for her. So I know today, I asked her what she wanted to do. She has not been out the house. She wanted to have brunch. So I'm not the best cook in the world, but we're gonna go over there and act like I am. we gonna cook something up. Me and my girls gonna cook something up, and we just gonna enjoy each other. And I love seeing how my mom is with my kids. That is like the most thing I love the most. Like she just kind of will sit out on the front porch and be talking to them. Sometimes I get a little jealous, but I'll be like, "You didn't tell me that. What you told Nana? You didn't tell me." But I love the fact that they feel comfortable and that like she's their second mother. So I love that. And for a lot of my friends who maybe don't have that, I love to allow them to have that comfort with my mom, or if I could be that to somebody else as well.
Right on. What about you, Tony?
I kind of feel the same way as they do. I know so many mothers who are not like birth mothers who have not given birth physically, but have also given birth so much on a spiritual level. And I think that is as big as giving birth physically. I know for myself, I have so many women who have been a part of my journey into where I am today. And there will be so many more women who are part of my journey as I move into where I am tomorrow. And so I feel like all of them are mothers because birth is both physical as well as spiritual. And so the spiritual birth of a person is just as intense and beautiful as the birth, both physically of a person. So I think every woman has a capacity to be a mother. Especially I personally enjoy like seeing really young ladies like in their very small little people like 5 and 6 year olds mothering their mothers during birth. I mean, for me, that's like
wow.
On her thing, and she has not physically birthed, but she is spiritually birthing at that point. And so I think that spiritual birth is as big, if not bigger, sometimes than the physical one for me.
Wow. So what would you all propose for people who are really struggling with their moms? Maybe they haven't always had the best relationship. Maybe their mom was absent for, whatever reason and wasn't there for them. What suggestions would you give those women during this time? Because even though Mother's Day I think it's an awesome day. I was in Cuba one time during Mother's Day, and they do Mother's Day is big in Cuba, like big, like it was incredible. But I know that there are some people who really struggle during this time. What would you suggest for them to make it through this day?
I kind of suggest for people find it. I think a lot of time we spend a lot of time kind of think about how somebody did us wrong or the past or different things that may upset us about this person. But you got to kind of like dig deep and try to find something about that person that makes you smile just a little bit, or the fact that person did just give you birth, even though they may not have been the best caretaker mother for you at that time, growing up, or me, even now as an adult, you may not still have those great experiences, but you only get one mom, and you only sometimes get that one person, sometimes that experience to spend with them sometimes. So I think that we have to take advantage of people while they're here and stop waiting to people pass away to, give them their flowers and appreciate them. And whether or not they may get on your nerve a lot, you got to kind of find that space within yourself to say, you know what, I'm not going to allow them to, take this negative energy. I'm going to give them a little time. And then you have to know yourself when to back up or when to leave that person so your energy won't change. But when you can, try to enjoy that little good moment about that person. Because I think everybody has a little bit of good that they can make you smile, especially a person that maybe birthed you or that, gave you a little bit of blessing, through your life and stuff. It may not be every day, it may not be all day, but you got to find a little time to just say thank you. And then also find some other people that you feel that uplift your spirit, that you also consider your mother and stuff, and then spend your time with them. But definitely, I encourage people to enjoy their mother or the person they call their mother while they're here, and stop waiting until they're gone.
It's real talk.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to expound on that?
Yeah, I would agree. I would say that for people, sometimes like someone else told me when I was younger, you have to accept people for where they are, period. So if you know that your mom is only good to bring a dozen of eggs, don't expect for her to bring the potato salad. Just know that that's all she's going to bring is them eggs, and accept her for that. Because what happens is we put an expectation on people. They don't meet our expectation. Then we become disappointed. And then after that, we're angry. And then we become frustrated. And then we're like sadness, because after anger, you're hurt, or your hurt turns into anger, whichever way you want to put it. And so you fester that stuff in your spirit for a very long time. And then before you know it, someone becomes ill, or you're ill, and then it's too late. You can't really rekindle the relationship. So I always advise everyone. It doesn't matter if it's young person, old person, anybody. When I'm around people, I always ask them, have you talked to your mom? Call your mama. Go see your mom. Doesn't matter. My mama, nope. You only get one. So I encourage everybody, even myself when I was young, when my mom was alive, and whoever knows me knows that I've lost relationships because I'm chasing behind my mom, making sure she was okay. She was sickly when I was growing up. And so people would be like, you're not stable. I lived in Vegas. They're like, you're not stable. You're always running back and forth to Sacramento about your mom. I'm like, bro, it's my mom. So she's going to die, and then I don't have to do this no more. But while she's alive, I'm going to hop on the road. I'm getting up at 7 or 4 or 3, 2, whatever time it is. I'm going to see about my mom. I don't care what you're talking about. See me later. My mom's important. And no, we didn't have the best relationship, and we had some rocky times in our lives as well, but I was taught growing up in my Dream Academy with Mama Rowe that you have to meet people where they are, and they can't give you what they don't have. And I was 15 when I learned that. And I'm so grateful. I'm so ever grateful, because it really helped me as a woman to understand my mom and to understand her position and her place with me and other people. And then also I would encourage people to think also, your mom was once a young girl who was chasing love or a career or whatever, she fell off the road or whatever happened, and you came, not that you're a mistake, but then you came and it changed the course of her road or her life. And so you have to understand that. And as a mother and as a woman, as you've been going through relationships and see how these men have been acting or what we've been allowing or whatever, then you can say, okay, you know what? I can see why my mom is stressed out, or I can see why my mom does substance abuse. Not that we want those things for them, but you just kind of meet people where they are and kind of try to understand and put yourself in their position to try to be a better person and help them, help them grow. Maybe that was the reason why God chose you to be coming through that lady, so you can help change her life. You never know the course of the spiritual side of it. So I always encourage people to tune into the spiritual side. It's not always about the natural. Sometimes, the natural world can get you all jacked up and you'll be in there feeling sorry for yourself. But at the end of the day, the person still let you pass through from the canal of her body, so you have to respect her for that, because she put herself at risk to give you life. So I feel like that part right there just deserves the utmost respect, no matter how they are, whatever happened on the other side, doesn't matter. So I always try to just encourage people to be loving to their moms and, put yourself in her position. What if it was you? Would you want your child to treat you that way? Because you do have to grow up, and you will too then be in this position. And how will your kids treat you if you made a mistake? You didn't buy them the Nikes that one time. Now you're the worst mom on earth. You really didn't have the money for the Nikes. You know what I'm saying? But they're going to say, oh, she didn't want me to have them. And it's not like that. You really wanted your child to have it, but you just didn't have the money. Now they hate you for something so frivolous. So I would try to get people to understand little things like that. And that's just a small scenario, because, I don't want to be all too deep or whatever, but little things like that, little stuff goes a long way. And so I just try to nip it in the bud and encourage others to do the same thing. Just be loving.
Right
yeah.
on. What about you, Tony?
So I had the best mama ever. Like,
that's awesome.
She speaks life to me and my family, like every day. Like like our property is about 3 minutes from her house. Like I'm there every day, even though she's shelter in place and won't let me come in her house. The best mama. And so it's hard for me when people do have issues with their mother. And I know that is totally a reality for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And so so for me, I just, sort of the same thing that Shanna said, was like meeting people where they are, and then I also know that even if it's your mother, for me, I sometimes you have to free yourself from them if need be, and it's so hard. It's so, I cannot imagine, like when I think about my mama and how she's getting older, she still won't let anybody do anything for her, but I can't imagine what life would be or will be without her. And so for me, no matter what she does, I mean, she's still my mama, and I tell my kids that all the time. It's like when I'm old, y'all better take care of me because I'm your mama. You know what I'm saying? And so like that's almost enough. So like trying to say, like, because when we talk about like the physical birth, like she didn't have to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She didn't have to. There are lots of ways not to, and so you could have been, still a twinkle and nothing more. So, I feel like, but then also giving reference to the women in your life who are mothers to you, who are not necessarily your physical mother, but also your spiritual mother. And so for sometimes it may take someone who doesn't have a good relationship with their physical mother to go to her, spend the time that they do, and then get their food from those spiritual mothers who feed them in the way that they desire and need, that they haven't been able to get from their physical mother,
Right on.
I
So with that being said, my next question is, what is your dreams and your hopes and your prayers for your daughters? Just for your daughters, not your sons, but for your, because all of y'all have daughters on here. What is your dream, your wish, your prayers for them as they turn into women or become women, and maybe mothers one day?
Ooh,
for my daughters, honor that they are loved and they are allowed to freely love, and to not be hurt in that, I mean, we all get hurt. We know that, it's like some dude is gonna like rock your world, mess you up. But for that hurt not to last with them, because how some of us, we got some hurt that just like sit there and it just like won't go away. My dream for them is that if and when they choose to physically birth, that they are able to do that with the utmost respect, with care providers who care for them and love them, and then also that they thrive and they grow in a way that I never would have dreamed would be possible, and then that they remember their ancestors in all things. I think that's really important for me, because I do that. And then I gift them that same thing. And so I pray that they're able to do that in the same way, if not a different way, but just kind of remembering that to be an important piece as they move forward.
Ooh, I have so many dreams, wishes for my girls, and I like the fact that me having girls and me being my mom's only child and girl, she constantly sometimes reminds me. She goes, "You're getting payback. You're getting payback from little things that I did for her to her." But yes, she definitely reminds me. But my dream is just, I really want them to even excel and do better than they see me doing, that they see their Nana doing. I want them to definitely be loved and love themselves first. I really want them to be able to travel, be able to do a lot of things that they want to do before they have to start caring and being someone else's priority, or having to care for kids. I definitely want them to have kids. I remind them all the time that I want a lot of grandkids. I want to be called Big Mama. and I want the grandkids to come over my house and stuff because I love doing that. But before they do that, I want them to make sure that they love themselves and they do the things that they want to do. Like if they want to travel, if they want to experience different things, I really want them to do a lot of that before they become wives, before they become mothers. And then when they do, they definitely, I always remind them, and I'm going to remind them as years go on, that Big Mama is going to be here to help them, plus Nana, because I'm definitely going to be here for them as much as my mom is there for me. And I really want to see them just excel and have a fun life. I don't want them to feel like they got to just go to school, get married, and have kids. I want them to enjoy themselves and feel like they have done what they wanted to do, and then they can start being caretakers for other people and kind of continue the tradition that Nana does and that their mama does, and as time goes on. But I just want them to be happy and loved.
Mm-hmm. Right on. Shanda?
So I have twins, and so with that being said, they piggyback off each other a lot. So the girls want to be in the medical field, and I have put them in place since they told me that, since they were little. I've put them in a lot of positions to be involved with the medical field, with different people, putting in special schools and STEM programs and medical programs. That's why we're here in Dallas. They're in a medical program here. They got accepted in 7th grade. So we came here so they can be a part of that medical program for the Baylor University. So nevertheless, I'm really, really big on my daughters being selfish. I know that sounds crazy, but I am, because I was a very selfless person and my life did not pan out the way that I wanted it to, because I was always worried about other people and putting them first. So my daughters, I don't make them do nothing for nobody, not even me. They're very selfish, and I actually love it because it helps them stay focused. It helps them do what they're supposed to do and maintain their grade averages. So for me, I would want them to just continue to exude being selfish with each other, with their time and with their love and their kindness, just make sure they continue to do what we've instilled in them thus far. Keep up the good work. And also to continue to have self-healing, spiritual healing, continue. If you feel like you're depressed or you feel sad or you feel something, whatever you're feeling spiritually, work on it. Don't let it manifest. Don't let it fester. Work on whatever is bothering you. So I say these things for the future, but we're actually working on them now as well, because it's just us. I don't have my mom's influence or anyone, no family. And that's by my choice, because I moved away from family. So for me, I'm being a mom and a sister and an auntie and a cousin and a friend all in one, so that way they can have different sides of who I am. So for me, with my daughters, I just want their future to be bright. I pray over them and for them every day that they meet good people who make them feel wanted and who love them and who accept them for who they are, where they are, and help them grow. It's very important for Black girls to be around a group of people who support people that look like them. And so I'm grateful that we have that and they feel loved. And I just want them to continue to feel loved and continue to feel wanted and to continue to feel accepted, and to know that even if the world outside of you doesn't accept you, you accept yourself. You made your own path, you're following your own goals, your own dreams. And even if everybody says, oh, you're dumb or this isn't going to work, you know that you're determined. Stay determined, stay focused, stay true to yourself, stay true to you. Always, no matter what, and then of course I want them to have the unity with each other, because I don't get along with my siblings. And so I know how that feels to have a person in the world that you can't call, but they're supposed to be your blood. So I tell them all the time, you can get mad at me. Like if you want to yell or fight, take it out on me. I'm cool with that. I'm your mom. I'll accept you. But with each other, I immediately make them kiss. No fight lasts over 2 minutes. No fight. You can't pretend, you can't play fight, you can't pull hair, you can't be like, oh, that's my shirt, or get yourself food and don't give the other one food. You can't do that. Not around me, because I know how it feels to be a Black woman who don't have fans and family, and how we fight with one another. And that stuff is forever. It takes years to get that anger out. So I don't let them, they don't get to play like that. So people ask them, do you guys fight? Nope, my mom won't let us. So I just want them to keep that, keep that same energy when they get older, And I do want them to have love. I want them to be married. If they want children, fine. If they don't, I'm okay with that too. Because I didn't want any growing up. So I understand if one of them might not want one or whatever, I'll be supportive. But either way, I want them to know that I have their back 110%. Like my mama got me. Like if I'm in school and I'm pregnant or whatever the heck happens to me, and my mama got me. And I just want them to know that. I want them to know that I got them no matter what, no matter where I'm at. They know that they have support, because that's important for me to know. For
Right
them,
on.
excuse
Right
me.
on.
Yeah.
That's
So-
all right. So the next question I want to ask you all, I want y'all to really think about this. What is one experience that because one of the biggest things I hear a lot of moms talk about is things that they experience that they never want their daughters to experience. And it could be like anything, sometimes some women are kind of hard on their daughters about dating, because you see them dating somebody, you kind of know who you think this person may be, but that's just natural. It's not, but when you think about something in your own life as you were growing up, what is one thing you want for your daughter to experience, and one that you hope she never experiences? That's kind of big.
For me, I
Mhm.
hope my daughters never, ever, 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 ever experience physical, mental, financial, or verbal abuse. Ever. It is so detrimental to your spirit when you go through that. What I want them to experience is being free. Do you enjoy, travel, get up and go like we used to when we were young? We'd be like rolling out in the car, let's do it. We're catching a flight, let's do it. I want them to have that experience, because I'm a free spirit. I enjoyed my life. Probably not as much since I've had them, but I've had me some good times. I've traveled outside the country and everything. So I want my babies to experience that same thing. Get out of here, go see the world, travel, enjoy you, and
Right
just have
on.
a fun time.
Right on. What about you, Essence or Tony?
I don't know. I think only thing I don't want them to experience is losing a parent like I did at a young age. So I hope and pray that me and my husband stay, healthy, so we're around, that if when we do pass over, we know it's going to happen, but that is later on in life and not at a young age, because I think me experiencing it at a young age, I think it altered a lot of things, the way in which I do things, think about things, the way in which I kind of went about my life as well. And not that it was all bad or anything, but just different things. So the pain, I think, from it, I don't want them to experience that at an early age, like I did. What I do want them to it really experience is the opportunity to really, like Shanna said earlier, do them. I really want them to, even though I still enjoy my life having kids, there's a lot of other things that I kind of wish I could have, would have did a little bit before having kids. And so I want them absolutely to enjoy their life before they feel like there's a lot that comes along being a wife, a lot that comes along with being a mother, a lot that comes along with being just a working woman, period. And so I really want them to feel like they have done a lot of things that they want to do, whether even some wild stuff, whatever they want to do. I just want them to really experience, so that when it's time for them to settle down and really be a caretaker for their kids, because I want them to be great moms. I want them to not feel like, oh, I didn't really get to do this, or I can't do that, or I didn't, get to do that and stuff. So I just really want them to do that and feel like, and I want them to also really work on, as they get older, building a good network with not only their family, with each other, with other sisters, and make sure they feel like they have a support team. Because no matter what nobody says, I think that we really need a support team as we go through life. Whether it's your family, whether it's some friends, but we need a support team. And I want them to build that and build a good one, so that when they do when they do decide that they're like, okay, they just want to rest, be a mom, be a wife, or whatever they want to be, that they feel like they have someone that they can go to, and that they can just kind of vent and do that, because whether we think we need it or not, I think it's very useful and helpful. But other than that, I just only thing I would say I don't want them to experience is just either parent. I don't want them to experience it at a young age, because it just does something to a person that I don't wish on anybody. So that's
I don't. Okay, Tony.
What they said, number one, especially what Esther said, because I lost my dad when I was 9, and that does do something different to the way that you become, I guess is the best way of saying. But specifically because I also grew up in the South, I feel like I don't want my children to have to experience racism blatantly, because we still do have a lot of that here. And so I want them to also be strong enough that if they do experience that, then they just slap it in the face and keep it pushing. It doesn't stay with them. And then I want them to experience love. I feel like I married my high school sweetheart. I know they don't happen a lot. I love me some Jimmy Hill. I tell everybody. And I want them to experience that finding their soulmate, whoever, wherever that person is, and then whenever, they find them. I want them to experience that, because there's really nothing like it, and so I feel like that's the one thing I want them to experience.
As you get older, what is one thing you still want to do? What is one thing you really, really want to do? And there's a lot of things on the bucket list, but
I want to start a farm, and so
you want to do what?
Start a farm, and I'm like, this is like one of my dreams. And then I think my other dream is to go catch babies in Haiti or Cuba, somewhere like that, somewhere where people look like me. Because I think a lot of times when people go to those places, birth workers especially, they don't typically look like us. And so I want to be able to experience that. I actually was gonna go to Haiti prior to them closing down, and there being a pandemic. And so I guess probably the Haiti thing is probably the big thing for me, or just going somewhere to support women in birth, so that they look up and they see someone that looks like them, and just having that same connection, because, like, no matter where you go, like, it's like, hey, what's up, sis? And so I want to be able to do that. I think that's about it, because this farm was like my dream for a long, long time, and being able to have that is like, I catch babies, I have a farm, I got a man I love, my kids are all healthy, and they're finally growing up. Like, I'm realizing my dreams every day.
Mm-hmm. You sound like Sister Javon. She done started her farm down there, and
did she really?
Every day on the Sugar Shack. And then also she has been, I know she's been all over the globe doing some things, but she's also been partnering, trying to do some work in Haiti, because we've been together before. So y'all need to link arms for real. She's not playing. Yeah. She said the same thing about Haiti. She wants to see people that look like us in their work, because usually it don't be us.
No, it doesn't. Yeah,
so,
that's awesome. My next thing. I'm gonna be messaging her next when we get off this call. I'll be like, hey, Javon, especially since she like near me now, a lot nearer than she was. Yeah,
Javon ain't playing, girl. She look like former Smith out there. She is not playing every day. She's a CEO of a lot of clinics, like federal clinics.
I know.
And then when she get home, she's on the farm. I think that's incredible.
That's me.
That's awesome.
Right now, I got boots on and my arm shorts right now. I ain't gonna let y'all see that part of me.
What about you, Shanna, in essence? Something that you still want to do?
So me, I still want to be a doctor. I still want to do my PhD in psychiatry, because I really am a spiritual psychiatrist and I don't get paid for it. So I just want to continue that part of me so that I can at least be paid per my worth and get some credentials to back up how I really feel and what comes natural to me to help others. So that's just a personal thing that I still want to work on. I haven't been doing it, but I've been paying down the debt from the college I did attend when I was in school before I had the girls. So that's been a blessing because it was a lot of money that I owed, and now I'm down real low. So now it's approachable. So I'm happy about that. So
Okay.
yeah.
What about you?
I think one thing I still want to do later on in life, and I just don't know if I'll be able to, is I want to buy a lot of property and own in my neighborhood where I'm from. I really want to kind of just, whether it be some apartment complexes, a couple of houses, and just really be able to say, you know, I own these properties and I have the ability to really provide to to families, to people I feel like don't get an opportunity to maybe be in a house or in the good apartment complex, and just feel good about me really giving back to my neighborhood and my area and really owning, like I want to own a street. I always, sometimes I've seen that different places where people really own, like the grandparents and something own the whole street and own a lot of the houses and apartment complexes. I would love to own a lot of property in Meadowview. That is like a dream of mine. And so, no, I own one house there, but yeah. So I would love to do that. And then outside of that, just kind of owning, you know, some property where I'm from, is I want to buy a house somewhere in the islands that I can just sit out on the beach every morning and chill and just like really relax. I love water and you know, beaches and stuff. And so I would love to own a nice little retirement property somewhere on the island somewhere.
Right on. So my question for the sisters that are married, as a mother, how do you balance your family with your husband? I'm not gonna lie, when I was a kid, because my mother was the person who ran everything, if I really wanted to do something and I knew she would say no, I would go ask my dad. And then my dad would say, "What your mama say?" I used to hate that. I was like, no, you a parent. You can say yes or no. That was their rule. Like, you know, it's like, because he knew that she knew. Like, don't, you know, how do y'all balance that in your families? And, you know.
It's for me right now, it's a little up and down hard because my husband lives and works in Houston right now. So I'm at home by myself. But when he is here, it is a hard balance because I'm working and I'm a busybody. Not only do I work, I have my little side business. My kids are in tons of activities. I like to do other things too, but I think I'm learning that more now than I before. My way of balance is before I would just kind of go off on everybody and go to my space and be like, leave me the hell alone, and kind of, you know, cuss and things like that. So I'm trying to learn as time goes on. I would say I don't have a good answer or recipe to that, because I'm finding myself now learning how to do that a little bit better. And then when he does come back, I have to figure out how I'm going to even incorporate and do it more, because I will say, and I tell my mom all the time, I go, you didn't tell me the truth. You didn't tell me the truth about this whole marriage thing and being a mama and working, all the kind of stuff. You didn't tell me the truth and stuff. I always tell her that because it's a lot of work. And as I'm getting older and I'm getting more wiser and learning more things, I am learning how to try to balance it a little bit more, but I don't have a clear answer. I just know that I have to let myself walk away and take time for myself, because otherwise I'm cussing a lot, cussing and yelling. So
You too honest about it. Be like, well, what I tend to do is.
no, yeah, I'm absolutely. I will take suggestions from anybody and everybody because I am still absolutely 100% working on it, and they will tell you in a minute that I flip my lid in a minute and go off. And so I'm working on it, and I'm finding that me working on it is saying, Essence, do stuff for you and take time for you, and then that allows me to say, okay, I could kind of balance. I need to do this for them. I need to do this for him. I need to do this for the house. I need to do this. But other than that, yeah, I go off a lot. So that's about it.
What about you, Tony?
I go off a lot. Yeah, and I mean, I think it's always a work in progress. We are moving into our 25th year of marriage, and our children are a lot older. Our youngest is 13, our oldest is 23. So the other thing is, in relationships are individual. So my husband's relationship with myself is individual, of him being a father to my children, and each child is different. Everybody who's raised any children at any time or been around children, you know what works for one child is not going to work for another. And so we look at it that way. So there is one child in particular in my house, and they can hear me, so I have to be very coy. That does not, like when things need to be brought up, they need to be brought up with me versus with my husband. And the same is true with another child. They need to be brought up with him instead of me, because I got a problem. Every time this particular child comes to me, they laughing because they know exactly what I'm talking about. And so we look at relationships as individual. They also know big decisions have to go through both of us. And so we stopped that really early on when my daughter came to me. And I think she was 3, and we didn't want her to have a Barbie doll. And she came with this bright idea that Santa Claus would bring her one. And we didn't really do Santa Claus like that. And I was like, number one, ain't no white dude come up in here bring, stuff. I bought that. And then number 2, we've already said this is what, and so all decisions come as we versus, mommy said or daddy said. And so we've always done that. And then also, I think what's important is having, as parents, is remembering that you are part of a relationship first, so but pre-pandemic, we used to go on a date, once a week. Now a date is sitting outside, with the stars, stuff like that. But it used to be this once a week, hey, let's meet at the movies, meet at the whatever. And we didn't talk about children because I have to be with him after the children are gone, hopefully they all leave. But then, so that relationship is separate. And so I think that is what, really, really takes precedence. And then also just making sure that we're on the same page. We have a lot of conversations, communication, things are coming up. We have a conversation about it. That kid is going to come to you, won the car, even after she's wrecked 2 already. And so you've already had that conversation. So when she comes to either parent, she know the answer is, well, I got to talk to your mom, or I got to talk to your dad about that, and I'll get back with you. And we don't make those rash decisions like just because you just came to me right now. That's not, and they know that. So they know that's how the land works. You come to me and you ask me, hey, mom, can I have blah, blah, blah? I'm like, well, your dad's not home. You got to wait till you come home to talk about that. And so even like you said, living apart, he working somewhere else. We had that situation in our life at one point. And at that time, I was like, well, I'm going to have to talk to your dad. And it irritated them with no end. But they know now. So as teenagers and young adults, they know that it's a joint effort, parenting is, and the conversation has to continue. And we don't make rash decisions at all about anything.
How do you all explain your ancestry to your children in terms of who came before you, what did they do, and how does that impact where they are right now? How do y'all do that?
I try to do it a lot by example and showing my love and my relationship with my family. I'm very, very close to both sides of my family, but especially my dad's side of family. And I make sure, since they were young, like before my great grandmother passed away, I make sure that they got a chance to meet her and also take pictures with her. I love taking lots of pictures. I sit down and tell them about my family history. My grandmother, one of my grandmothers is still living, and I make sure that we go visit her. Unfortunately, with everything going on now, we can't go there, but we can do Skype. But I definitely spend a lot of time go visit her. My family has we have a yearly family brunch and a gathering where we acknowledge what our young folks are doing. We also plan things throughout the year. We go camping every year. We do our brunch every year, and we do we do an activity just for the kids or just an activity with adults and stuff. And I try to show them and tell them about how it's important to just have those relationships with your family and make sure that they know each other. Like my cousins, we grew up with each other, and my kids play with my cousins and my cousins' kids. And then I also, every opportunity I get, I try to connect my kids with my family and tell them, oh, that's great so-and-so, that's, cousin this or this stuff. And I like to go to family activities, and I've not only, they know my side real good, they know their dad's side real good. And I'm really big on making sure that they know their history line and sit and talk about stuff. But unfortunately, my kids do, because I do talk about our family so much and talk about, great grandparents or different things, and I try to show them stuff. They do like, Mom, we know, okay. And I'll be like, you got to call or talk to this person, or make sure you say thank you. Make sure, I'm always doing that because I am extremely, family is extremely important to me. And so I definitely kind of beat that over their head about honoring their grandmother and making sure they honor, they know who their great grandmother is, which is, my grandmother, and even the ones that have passed away. That my kids don't always like to go with me, son, but I go to my dad's graveyard. They call my daddy Papa Joe, even though they never got a chance to meet him. My mom has all the pictures in her house. I have tons of pictures in my house and stuff. And so that is one thing. And I told my kids, and I know sometimes they be like, Mom, we heard enough. Sometimes I go, when you get older, in my will, I'm gonna make sure you guys can't get nothing if you guys don't have a family event with each other almost every month or every week. I told them I'm gonna write it in my will, and I'm gonna make sure that they have a bond, and they have to keep. I say, you gotta make sure if Nana live past me or so-and-so live, you got to make sure you check on them, and I make sure they know who all my uncles are. I'm very anal about it. You know who that is, even if they haven't spent a whole lot of time, I make sure that they know. And I like to do that for my husband's side of family and my side of family, because my family will tell you I love them, I bug them to death, and they mean the world to me. And so I make sure that my kids know, and I let them see by example how important this is. And that's why we continue our family brunch every year. We didn't get that. It was scheduled for March 28th for this year. Unfortunately, we had to cancel it. But, we kept in touch. We had a little Zoom thing. And I told them as soon as we can, we're going to have another one, because I love my family. I know everybody doesn't have that experience, but, they know I'm their loud, crazy cousin that's going to try my best to keep them all in connect. And I want my kids to see that.
Right on. Listen, that is super important what you said. Even though you may feel like the kids is like, oh my God, when they get older, they're going to remember all that. Yeah. They're going to be digging for that to share with their children. I'm so serious. So even though, because kids be like, I'd rather be playing my video game. I'd rather be with my friends. That's a part of how they're supposed to be honest with you. Yeah. But as you get older, you'll be searching your brain. Like, what did my mama say? What was that person say? Like it's just a part of their root. So always do that. Like, your family is so blessed to have you to keep those memories and legacies alive, because that's what other people are working from, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It is. I love it. So
right on. Anybody else? How do you explain your ancestry or your family line to your children?
We're sort of the same way. in that, I mean, we're really country, and so a lot of our family lives in the same area. My husband, we say, is related to every single person, because whenever we go somewhere, he like, "What's up, cuz?" And then he goes on to tell, like, he introduces the children, and then the rest of the day he is telling them about when he did this with this person and that person, you know. So mostly it's very story led, but also in our daily life, because of course our children homeschool, so we spend a lot of time together. And so like the other day when my husband was working on a lawnmower, we were talking about his grandfather who we lost a couple years ago. And so just kind of telling the kids about how when Pop, that's what we call him, when Pop would mow the grass, there was not a weed, or there was not this, or blah, 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 you know. And so the kids, you know, they know about the ancestors. And of course, we also have, like, you know, a special place for the ancestors in our house as well. So they sit with us, mainly my youngest more than the others do, just kind of listening to stories, whatever comes out. And then I always say, you know, just making sure that they know how important it is to remember their ancestors' voice when they can. So in order to do that, they have to spend time with them, you know, because I still remember my Maria's voice. You know, I remember her hands. I remember all of that, you know. And so the only way you can do that is by spending time with them, because eventually they will be ancestors and they won't be there. So it's important to spend that, be present in that moment. And Essence, my children are the same way. They be like, "Oh God."
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, you know, I'm like, "Oh, did you know?" Because I just found out one of my great aunts was a midwife, and so like that was all about that. I was like, "What? Oh my God!" You know. So I've been spending the last couple of days just kind of really trying to go through things to see if I can figure out more about her and that sort of stuff. And so my kids like, "Okay, who are you trying to figure out now?" And so then I'm like, "Okay, so this is Mama SL's sister, da da da," and they're just like, "Oh God," you know.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you asked, so you're gonna get the answer, you know. But those stories are, I mean, like they never go away, and so I think it's important to just always remember that. And like I say, I mean, like I said, we see cousins all the time, and so my husband always say, "You gotta know who you kin to. You might end up marrying them," you know.
Yep, that is so true. That is so true. Yep.
I guess
Yeah.
that's what we do.
Yeah, yeah. I have a very large family. My dad is one of 10 and my mom is one of 7.
Wow.
So and each one of those, you know, my aunts and uncles had a lot of kids. So with that, I want to make sure that my kids know who their cousins are and doing stuff together and everything. And I love them to sit down with my mom and just ask a lot of questions. I have a great aunt that I'm really close to, and they have a good relationship with her. And I'd be like, "You better ask the questions. Ask about everybody you think you see the people in the picture. Go ask auntie so and so." You know, I always do that and stuff. So that's extremely important to me. I think that's my fuel a lot. My family, and just spending time with them and talking about them and having my kids build relationships with their cousins and stuff, that uplifts me.
Right on. Shanna, what about you?
Yeah, sorry, I was having some technical difficulties, ladies, so I apologize.
That's right.
For me, my daughters hang out with my big sister. They go with her every year, and her side of the family and her husband's side of the family. And they travel either outside the country or within the country. They go everywhere together for like 2 weeks. And then, like I said, when my mom was alive, I would always travel home every holiday, never miss one. So my mom's side of the family, they're really huge on celebrating and stuff. So we would always do whatever, family reunions and real big gatherings, birthday parties. My mom and her sisters, we celebrate their birthday like by going to their favorite restaurant or cooking for them or however they want to, you know, just depending on how old the oldest person wanted to celebrate, whatever it was that they wanted to do. So I have my grandfather's side of the family. They are Cherokee Indian people. So I don't know all of them, but the ones that I do know, they're really nice. So they would always talk to us about the heritage and the information, giving us like feedback about how it was growing up and how it felt to be indigenous and things of that nature, the things that they experienced living in Mississippi and leaving the DOS role because there was no food and stuff like that. So I try to connect that stuff to my daughters and help them know like their background and where they come from. And my girls are West African, so their dad's side of the family is African from Liberia. So I try to go to like the cultural events and the celebrations and the Independence Days and things like that. So the girls can always feel connected. And every time that we're in a new city or state, I always find a group of African people to connect with so we can eat the proper foods that my girls like to eat and have like that connection. So even if they're not blood related, I still keep them abreast with the culture. So that way they don't feel like they lost a piece. So, as I have gotten older people have passed away in my family, so it's hard to keep the traditions going that we used to have. But I do communicate with my daughters, and I let them know who everybody is. Most of my people on my Facebook are my family, so I introduce them to the kids and stuff. All of them know each other. They haven't hung out, but they do know each other, and they have that network in case if they decide to travel. And I tell people my door is open for them as well if they decide to travel. When I live in Las Vegas, I would have everyone come over whenever you're in town. It doesn't matter if I knew you for real or not. You're my cousin. Come through. I got you. So I just try to keep an open door policy and open friendship for my daughters so they can know people and not hesitate. Video chatting, Zoom, actually visiting people, road trips, you name it, we've done it. So I don't have any real big traditions that I'm keeping alive because I am single. So I don't have like a husband that I can introduce his family and do all the stuff with. But once I do become a wife, I'm sure that my husband's family will adopt us and take us in, and then we can start creating some new memories and adventures.
So my closing question for you all is, what is your, I don't know, prayer wish or I forgot the dang word. Prayer wish or it's like saying
aspiration or
aspiration. Thank you. I was like, why is this word for your family and for
Let me pitch up.
mine would be for the girls to be, for me, my family, for myself, my family, for all of us, to live at your fullest potential, to know your worth and to exude it and to live at your fullest potential. You know, never doubting yourself, never saying you can't do it or not believing in yourself or not having enough willpower or being driven. That's so cute. That would be my favorite, like my favorite wish for my family would be to just continue to be inspired and continue to strive for whatever you feel is the greatest part of yourself. Just keep going for it. Never give up.
Right on. Oh, Mother's Day balloon.
I see that Mother's Day gift. I see Houston came through.
That's so cute. The dog was like, somebody at the door.
Yeah.
Houston came through. I see that.
Yeah.
What about you, Tony?
I think happiness and joy is key. Like that's it. Just happiness and joy, and whatever happens, whatever, you know, that they still are always able to find happiness and joy.
I know. And what about you, Essence?
I didn't catch the question.
What is your prayer, wish, or dang, I went blank again on the word. Say the word.
Aspiration.
Aspiration. My goodness, what is with that? For your family and just for the world in general.
Just to really love on each other while you're here. Love on each other. Be humble. Give to others, and just really appreciate each other while you're here. I'm really big on just showing a lot of love and appreciation and not waiting. I don't want a bunch of hooping and hollering and crying at my funeral. I want you to show me love now, and I want to do that for you as well. One thing I wanted to add on, to say too to that is that during this time that we've been this COVID and everything, I have wrote down a list of women, mainly older, that I said that I want to just send cards to, or I want to just appreciate them. And so I found blank cards and cleaning out all my junk that I had. And I just been writing, just telling them, I just wanted to say hi, I love you, or just thinking about you, and just been trying to mail that out to different people, and then just reconnecting with people. I just think that is extremely important to just show love, and I just hope that everybody really just starts doing that more, just love and appreciate the people, even those, instead of waiting until someone is sick or waiting to, you know, it's at the end and stuff, because I've just seen too much of that, and I just rather people just do that now. And so my hope is that people just take the time, not even just with everything going on, but just as time goes on and they grow and they just start digging deeper within themselves, to just start showing love and appreciation to those people that probably wouldn't expect you to do that, you know, for them, and to that, and especially your family. You know, there's a lot of family. We all get on each other's nerves. We may not all like what we do all the time, but I'm really happy just to be part of the bloodline that I am a part of on both sides and stuff. And I want to hopefully before I die, just show them in some way, whether small or big, that how I appreciate them, and that when I do go and pass away, that they remember me for that and stuff, because I might jump out that casket if you start that hooping and hollering, and you ain't talk to me and you ain't talk to me forever and stuff. I want my flowers while I'm here, and I want to do that for others as well.
That's right. Yeah.
Right on. Well, ladies, thank you so much. I know it's Mother's Day. You got to go and be with your family. Thank you for giving me this time. And I hope you all have a great Mother's Day.
You too.
Thank you. Happy Mother's Day to you guys. Thank you.
Right.
Bye.
Y'all take care. This is for grandma.